Hey everyone, it's Maribel Blue with a special Unfiltered. My guest here is Bishop. I might start calling her a co-host soon. She's my panelist here, and we have great discussions about life, about politics, about crime. This is a topic that I did not want to do on my own. This is a very important topic because it reflects on the Nolan Wells case. But what has opened up with this case is the recognition of racism still exist. We are going to use Don Lemon, who had several guests on, a guest that he had on his show, who lives in Mississippi. And what came out of his mouth was absolutely shocking. Like, I have no words for it. But before we begin, I just want to say welcome everyone to this channel. If you are new here, welcome. And if you are not, welcome back. Please be sure to hit the subscribe button if you are new. And also there is a join button so you can join, because I mentioned before in my previous videos, I am planning on doing lives on Friday nights. Sometimes Bishop, when her time allows her, will join me on those lives. So I'm looking forward to upgrading this channel. And even so, I'm considering, if you do join the highest tier, you'll be able to join on the panel discussion and share your thoughts and opinions on what's happening in the world today. Today, let's talk about what's been happening with Nolan Wells. Bishop, I'm sure that you are familiar with what's been happening in Mississippi, with Ben Crump getting involved, Christine Wansley acquiring Ben Crump as their attorney. I apologize, we forgot his name, but Reverend Al Sharpton has also been involved in giving speeches, talking about what's been happening with Nolan Wells. But I think the big thing that has been disturbing for me is listening to Black people saying that racism is over. And one particular guest Don Lemon had, his name is Emmanuel Cut in with. He made up that last name. It's not his real last name.
Oh, okay.
But his last name is Cuttinwithe. That's I guess that's like a street name or whatever it is. Whatever name, like maybe his channel name, I should say, not his street name, but his channel name if he's doing things on TikTok or YouTube for that matter. He said Emmett Till happened 100 years ago. Why are we still talking about it? He feels Crump has fueled unnecessary discord and saying that the Nolan Wells case should not be about racism. And Nolan Wells having white friends during the eulogy, it was all about race. So I'm going to play a little bit of Don Lemon. Yeah, these are notes that I've been taking as a result of everything that has been going on. But I did include some timestamps in the notes that I have here currently. I don't know if you want to say something now. I mean, you're more than welcome to talk now
because
about it.
I have questions, but maybe they'll be answered by what I see. Because I'm like, okay, maybe I need to know more. So that's why I'm like, okay, I got to see this, because I'm thinking a lot of things.
Yeah,
Somebody saying something like that.
And I couldn't find the actual live video because Don Lemon does lives morning and afternoon.
Right. He does a lot of lives, yeah.
And I couldn't find that one particular video where I know it's there where he had him on, that he was saying all of these things, but I believe in another video that I pulled up because he had Godfrey on and they talked about this particular topic.
And don't get me started on Godfrey, because he's not an ally either, but okay.
We can talk about that. I'm going to play a certain part here that starts at 5:50 timestamp to 9:33. And then we can talk more about this.
When people are diminishing Black voting rights, we can't be mealy-mouthed. We can't do both sides. We can't do false equivalence. We can't be quiet. The mistake comes when we confuse progress with completion. There was a time, which I tried to explain yesterday, when racism announce itself proudly, right? You would use the N word, or you would just say you can't drink at that water fountain, or you can't eat at this restaurant, or you can't ride on this part of the bus. So that's when racism sort of just announced itself proudly, like, yeah, can't walk on the sidewalk. If a white person came down the sidewalk, you'd have to get off the sidewalk and move over. You couldn't go look at a white woman. Okay, that was a time when it wore white hoods, when it carried burning crosses. Some of that's coming back now. Do you know the whole Jews will not replace us, and Blood and Soil, Charlottesville, Washington, D.C., Proud Boys, and that other Patriot Front, or whatever it's called? There was a time, though, so it's coming back, but there was a time when it announced itself and it was prevalent. People stood in schoolhouse doors. They wrote white only on the water fountains, right? That America existed, and it was not that long ago, and some people would like to bring it back. But then the laws changed because we were operating in a different system right now. But you better be careful, because people are trying to change the laws. And in many ways they are. Look at the Voting Rights Act. The culture changed. People changed. And we started believing racism disappeared because it changed clothes. It became quieter, it became more sophisticated, more polite, less interested in public humiliation, and more interested in private influence. So Emmanuel's comments about the quiet racist matters for exactly that reason. He said, essentially, if somebody is racist but keeps it to himself, who cares? Who cares? I care. I care because quiet racism doesn't stay quiet. And let me tell you how, and I said this as well. Quiet racism votes. Quiet racism is in HR. It's on hiring committees. It decides who gets the interview and who doesn't. It decides whose resume gets a second look, or even a look at all. It has influence at school board meetings. It decides which books children are allowed to read, which histories they are allowed to learn. It serves on juries. It's a judges' chambers, judges' benches. It's at the bank. It approves mortgages. It denies loans. It influences prosecutors. It shapes police departments. It affects hospital care. It decides who gets the benefit of the doubt and who gets treated like a threat. Most racism in America today doesn't announce itself anymore. It is an accumulation. It's one decision, it's one assumption, it's one opportunity that is withheld. It is one benefit extended. It is one child encouraged. It's another overlooked.
I'm disgusted. I can't find a more disgusting word, because I think a long time ago I realized something wasn't right, especially when it came to the workplace. My first job was working at the Internal Revenue Service in 1987.
Okay.
The 80s was a different time.
Different type of racism, too.
Exactly. And it's funny because I was having a conversation with a friend of mine not too long ago. I said, if you think about television back in the day, 60s, 70s, 80s, it wasn't until the Cosby Show surfaced, And I use the Cosby Show as an example because if there were other shows before then, it just went under the radar. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't until like the late 80s, 90s, 2000s that you started to see all of these different diverse shows come onto the scenes. But back then, there was no diversity show. There was Leave It to Beaver. There was I Dream of Jeannie. There was Bewitched. And I was explaining to her, when you think about how television, who was the boss? Mr. Phillips in The Brady Bunch, middle-aged white man. Who was the boss in I Dream of Jeannie? Middle-aged white man. Who was the boss in Bewitched? Middle-aged white man. Then you go to work in real life in the 80s. Who is your boss? A middle-aged white man.
Yep.
So you see the consistencies where television, how they say art imitates life. And I don't think it was until the mid 90s, after I came back, and I was clean and sober and coming back into life and assimilating and working, that I had a job at a very big cosmetic company. There was a man there, and I've told this story several times. There was a man there. There were several people who did not like me. And in this 30 days, they made everything as difficult as they could for me. From HR pulling up my credit report and having someone pull me aside. It's one thing if you're doing a background check, yet another, I don't ever recall saying, yeah, it's okay for you to pull up my credit report. Having someone pull me aside and say they had concerns about things that I didn't pay. Well, I had 2 years clean or something like that. I wasn't thinking about credit cards
Right.
back then. I'm getting my life together here. My credit report is none of your business. How I'm going to handle all of this. The woman that I worked for, she was always out of the office. The man that I was working for, because it was like a team of people. There was one time I was talking to the HR dude that was there. I was joking with him, and he was joking with me back. And after he left, my boss calls me into the office and he goes, "Do you know that man? Do you know that he works in human resources?" I said, "Yes, I do, because he was helping me in my paperwork and everything that I was going through." "Well, I don't know where you come from, but here we don't talk to people like that." And I think that was the eye-opening experience where that quiet racism language, well, I don't know where you come from.
For me, it wasn't even that he said that. For me, it's that he had anything to say to you about it. That's
Right.
the racism. For you to even think that you can address me and be so concerned about me talking to somebody else. You ain't my daddy. You pay me to, man. Listen, when I saw that video get played, I was like, the first thing I thought was, quiet racism is the worst kind of racism. It's worse than loud. I always say I respect. I have more respect for the racist that is very clear and vocal about the fact that they're racist, versus the person that says, "Oh, no, 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 I don't see color. I like everybody." You're more nefarious because those people don't even want to be honest about who they are while they actively work to oppress people. And those people are all around us where they never see color up until it's really convenient for them to see color. I'm like, I see color. It's nothing wrong with seeing color. You have eyes. It's what you do with that information once you have it. If you start treating people different just because of the color of their skin, yeah, you got to take a look at that, because you shouldn't be doing that. Not at all. And so, I am not surprised when I hear, like you mentioned about, the young guy thinks, racism is over and black people need to stop talking about it. A lot of that's due to the fact that black people work really hard to be included and not be treated different. And a lot of things were put in place to force people that otherwise wouldn't do that to do that. And then you had kids get born into this society where folks were working really hard to make everybody feel inclusive as much as possible. I mean, you never feel totally included. But with these young people, though, and video games and the internet, it becomes, instead of you seeing color, it's other ways that they're dividing themselves, right? But color isn't the first way. And so they normalize saying certain types of racist language to one another, regardless of color. Everybody's the N word, right? Because That's how they rationalize it. Oh, we all can be the N word. It's not a big deal. We're all friends. And then you look at a case like the Nolan Wells case. And when you hear things about his friends never went over to his house,
Right.
but he always went over to their house. And you look at stuff like that and you go, that's racism.
Right.
But young people being young, they don't really see it that way because the person isn't saying to them, I'm not going to your house because y'all black over there and I don't feel comfortable. My parents told me not to come over there. Because it's not said explicitly, it can't be real. That's how a lot of the young people act. It's almost like it has to slap them in their face. And even when it does, they want to argue and fight about it. As if arguing or fighting about it is going to cause a racist to see them any differently.
Right.
No. So I think some of us in the older generation have done them a disservice by protecting them and shielding them from a lot of it, frankly. Because since we had to deal with the 80s and the 90s. We dealt with that. We know what it's like to feel like somebody's treating you different because you don't look like them. They're not saying it, but the actions are saying it. And you have to still be like acting like you don't see it when you obviously see it. And then there's some moments when you acknowledge that you see it and you make very clear, don't listen, this is going to be a day where I will probably lose my job, but that's a hill that I'm willing to die on because I'm tired of being disrespected. Because we all have had those moments where we just go, nah, today going to be the day where this person learns a lesson. I think for a lot of these young people, they are really in a dark place because they've put themselves in this position where they've tricked themselves into believing that racism is over. They've tricked themselves into believing that we're all cool. Systematic racism never went nowhere. It just it changed clothes, but it never went nowhere.
Right. And that was the whole thing. I think that people don't understand the systemic racism and how it works and how Don Lemon laid it out. The quiet racism, the voting, the HR, the communities, HR being human resources, loans and schools. And how many times have we seen these videos that people produce where you have two people coming in to see a house and you have a black man probably not dressed up in a suit or anything like that, maybe is a landscaper and could be wearing like landscaping clothes, jeans or shirt, you know what I mean, and maybe looking a little dirty. And then you have a white woman come in and she's very well to do, very dressed up, and she doesn't have the money to pay for the house, but she would have to apply for a loan. Whereas the black guy comes in and even though he may look a little dirty, has the cash up front to pay the house. And the person selling the house will choose the white woman as opposed to the black guy who may not be dressed in a suit because he may be trouble. Meanwhile, he has the money and owns his own business. And the reason why he looks a little dirty, because maybe he just came from a construction project and didn't have time to change his clothes and maybe dress up and clean up or whatever. And we start viewing people with these biased eyes. How many times have people looked after 9/11 happened? How many people started to view people of the Muslim faith? If women came and they were wearing their hijab and they were all covered up or they had their head covered up, because there are women who just cover their head and they dress up moderately. They don't have the whole gamut thing going on. How many people looked at them differently as a result after 9/11? See, I don't want to say I was at a crossroads, because I wasn't. I was, why are we treating random Muslim people fucked up? That had nothing to do with this. A person like myself who made 12-step meetings, I mentioned it in your live not too long ago. There are many people who converted to Islam. You have a lot of people, they find God or whatever. You have people that turn to Christianity. You have people who turn to Islam. I found the people who turned to Islam were much happier people. One person I knew who was a Buddhist, that I ended up running into him at the center on 16th Street in Manhattan. Oh my God, he was so happy to see me there, you know? But to know that people turn these eyes into, oh, they're Muslim, gotta be a terrorist. Where does all of that come from? These biases.
Religion. Religion is a key because religion is power.
Hmm.
Whoever has the most followers, right,
Right.
has the most influence. And man has figured out that religion is a great way to control other people, right?
Hmm.
It is the
Hmm.
easiest way, honestly, to control people is through religion. So I think a lot of it's religion because a lot of people get indoctrinated into inside of church and they're taught a lot of falsehoods about Islam and the Muslim religion. They don't necessarily go to seek information for themselves to have an understanding. But in my experience, every Muslim that I've ever met that's a real, because in every religion you got your fakers and your posers, right? That's every
Correct.
religion because that's a
Hmm.
human thing. That's not
Hmm.
about the religion. But when you ideally, most of the Muslims that you will run into in your lifetime will be real practicing, devout Muslims. And to your point, they're happy people. I've never seen them do anything where I question who they are as a person. I've never had to question their morality. I've never felt unsafe around them. I've never felt that they were selfish. They've all quiet as kept, they're more than giving you know, in my experience, no
Hmm.
matter the color of the Muslim either, ethnicity has no place when it comes to being a Muslim. If you are a Muslim, they don't care where you come from.
Right.
Muslim is Muslim.
Hmm.
Um, I don't hear talk of what sect of Muslim are you.
Right.
I never hear those conversations. So
Hmm.
for me, I think a lot of it is the hatred of Muslims comes through lack of knowledge because when people don't know information, they make things up. Some of it's jealousy because, like we said, they're happy people. Because imagine you being saying that you're about a certain religion, whatever that is, and how much you love it, but still being miserable. Then what's the whole point of worshiping? Like,
I look at people who turn their life to Islam as a much happier group. They love Allah so much.
what they
I
say, they
don't.
love the Lord. They love
Yes,
God. That means
they
genuinely.
truly do, and you can feel it. If you
Yes.
look at any videos, there's a video of a man who does a prayer of some sort on a
Hmm.
mountain. It is the most beautiful prayer I've ever heard in my entire life. I'm going to send you the link. It is beautiful. And compare it to the people who, Jesus loving people. They are the worst.
What do they
I'm
say?
not
Ain't no love
saying
like Christian hate. Ain't that what they say?
I'm not saying all of them because
No, it's not all of them.
I
We're
do
more
have
so
family
talking about
members.
evangelicals, the
Yes.
radicals. That's who we're
Exactly.
talking about. However, if you see it happening and you choose to stay quiet and let these
Mhm.
people, because you got to be honest about it, if you choose to stay quiet and allow people to hijack your religion, and make it appear to be something that it's not, you're doing your own disservice to your religion and God when you think about it. And I want to go back to something you said something about that I remembered. And I forgot this, but this is so true when you come in contact with Muslims. They're always wishing God's blessing and love upon you, even if you don't worship the way they do, even if you don't believe. Every Muslim person I know has always made me feel like I just want you to know God loves you because I love you. And I love you because you are a reflection of the God that I serve. I mean, because in essence, that's what they say. But I've never felt more loved in a room full of Muslims. It's the
You ain't
truth.
lying. You ain't lying because I have been there many of times. I remember this one guy, he used to hold, they would call it like renegade meetings. He would
Mm,
hold like a basic text 12-step meeting. We would
Okay.
get together every Tuesday and go over a chapter, and everybody would get a chance to share how they felt about that chapter, any experiences that they had. And he had turned his life over to Islam. A lot of men in that room, because there were women there too, but a lot of men in that room did turn their life over to Islam. That
Wow.
was like
I
a
can believe
different,
it.
it just felt different. And
But
you
that's
know,
what those men were probably chasing. I want to feel the
right.
way he feels. He seems like he loves life. He's at
Hmm.
peace. That's what people be chasing because they
Yes.
want the same thing that they see. And it's something about Muslims give, even when they're going through stuff, it's this belief that Allah got me. I'm going to be okay. I don't have to worry. I don't have to do bad things because guess what? I'm going to be okay. To me, there's a lot of beauty in that.
I agree. There's another man. I used to see him come up in my shorts. I don't know why he's coming up anymore. I may be following him, but I'll send you the link to his
I
channel
think
when
I
I
already
find
know
him.
who you're talking about, the
He
older
wears the
guy.
whole garb, yeah, and
Yeah, and he got like the suit on and everything and
he
stuff.
he doesn't wear a suit. He wears like the whole
Oh
hijab
no, send
thing,
me
and
him. That's another guy. Because there's another Muslim guy I follow that he breaks stuff down. He wears glasses, older gentleman, salt and pepper, and he
mhm,
wears a suit. He's really good too. But yeah, send me
okay.
that link of the other guy.
I will. And he also breaks down a lot of different things. You know, if you're pursuing something or you feel like
Ah,
something's not working for you. But when you think about it in that retrospect of what he's talking about, I compare it to Buddhism.
yeah, I could see that.
It's
I could
like
see that.
it kind of falls along the same guidelines. You know what I mean? Are
Hmm.
we going to chant Nam Myoho Renge Kyo for somebody to get hurt as opposed to
Right,
chanting for the betterment? Because if you're chanting
right.
for the betterment of that person, guess what? You're also chanting for the betterment of yourself. And
Damn.
I think this is where people get confused, right? Because
Mm.
going back into the topic of racism, why did white people burn down Tulsa, Oklahoma? Because they were jealous and they didn't like black people being successful. They built a town and no, we don't like that.
And they were joyous. Black people were joyous. God forbid we're happy and full of joy. That's a threat.
And remember, you talked about that in one of the other videos that we did. Like,
Yep.
why? When we were talking about that shooting with that dude, he
Hmm.
comes using the N word, and then when he got like no reaction,
That's
he
not
came back.
enough. Yep.
Like, why are you doing that?
Because when we're happy, I find that there's something about black joy that actually exposes who people really are. There's
Hmm.
some people, they love to see black joy because black joy, quiet as kept, is inclusive, not exclusive, right? Because
Hmm.
ideally, if we're having a good time, we like, hey, whoever else want to have a good time and you not about no mess, you can have a good time. But if
Right.
you about the mess, you need to stay where you at. You understand?
Hmm.
And I think for some, like I saw, I'm gonna give you a great example. I saw a video yesterday. You remember that Kendrick Lamar song, Not Like Us?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. Don't drink anything while I tell you this. Okay. I
I
should have
finished my
sent you the
coffee. Let
link.
me just put it
Yeah,
away
sip it. Yeah, put it away now. Don't sip
so
nothing.
I don't go
Because
knocking it
even
down.
I watched it like, wait a minute. They totally didn't get it. Okay. So all know this song is all about Kendrick talking about people. Ultimately, he was talking about Drake, but in addition to people just culturally appropriating and all these
Because
things,
Drake from Canada.
right? So get this. Why was there a video that I saw somebody put on Threads yesterday of a sorority, a white sorority, and they were doing their sorority dance video to, wait for it, They Not Like Us. Look at your face. You're like, wait
Huh?
a minute. I had the same look you have right now. Like, maybe they didn't listen to the lyrics.
Ain't nobody
What?
want to be like you.
Girl. And
I
they
mean,
were
don't get
doing
me
it
wrong. I have
against
white
other
friends that I love,
sorority.
but I'm not trying to be like them.
Girl. I was like talk about tone deaf. There were so many songs you could have used. Not like us. They had a whole dance routine too. They did
Why does this sound
choreography.
familiar? I feel like I've seen this.
They did I'm a find the video again and I'll send it to you after this. They did choreography. I was like, wow. They had special effects. They had special lighting. Like they planned this. And I'm going, you mean to tell me you practice, you plan, and through all of that, you never listen to the lyrics? Okay. But back to the point of when you were saying early on about racism, that sorority, that's a great, to me, segue into back to that of going to when you normalize people even culturally appropriating
Mhm.
your music and then taking it and using it for their white sorority, when the music, the whole song is talking about black people being in chains back in the day,
Mhm.
how we were slaves, how you called us slaves, like all these things. And you use that. And you'll see some young black people see that video and, oh, they look so good. Look at them dancing and and it's like, no, that is cultural appropriation. That is still minimizing the pain and trauma of a group of people. That song was talking about it, and then they went and did a dance routine to it,
Mhm.
dancing all over your ancestors. So it goes back to, again, I think a lot of young black people, they don't even understand what racism is, frankly.
They
All
don't.
the only racism they really kind of know is the stuff from the 60s. And because nobody's walking right up to them saying, to your point, you can't sit here, you can't drink this water, anything less than that don't seem racist to them.
Right. No, they're not familiar with it because they never had the experience. And I think there was one person I remember listening to a TikTok live. This was a while back. There was one guy who said, and he was a young black guy, why do I need to learn about history? It's not the present right now. So I don't need to learn about history.
I
And
blame his
everybody,
parents too. I blame his parents too, because I'm going, who are your parents? You know what I'm saying?
yes.
Because
Like,
learning
what do you
starts at
mean?
home. Who are your parents? That's almost like saying, I don't care about my grandparents. I only care about my parents because
Mhm.
those are the people that I started with. I can forget about everything else. That's ludicrous. Oh my God. Oh
You
my
know, I
God.
think the benefits of TikTok, because we were talking about TikTok offline.
Mm-hmm.
The benefits that I found with TikTok is black education.
Yes.
Because you do have black creators in there.
Yes.
You are one of those
Mm-hmm.
people that
Mm-hmm.
I learned from. There's another guy in there who also talks about black education, breaking things
Okay.
up. There's several black guys on there. And to hear other black men talking about how these things are irrelevant. Another friend of mine who says how he has to have that conversation with his son. And I'm
Mm.
like, that conversation. I mean, yes, I'm from the 80s. You understand what I'm saying? You're from the 80s, but the 80s was such a different time. We were not conditioned to see what was going on in other states or outside of the
Right,
world.
right, right. Because we
Our
didn't have that.
news,
Yeah.
yeah, our news was local. And it wasn't until cable came along that you
Mm-hmm.
had the CNNs and you had the birth of Fox News and all of these different organizations. You know, BBC. Now you're able to see BBC here
Right.
and see what's going on in the world. You have Al Jazeera. You have all of these different organizations where you could see everything that's going on now. But there are still people who are not tuning into those channels and opening up those doors and educating themselves. Not too long ago, I was listening to a book and they were talking about wet nurses. And I'm like, what the hell is a wet nurse?
Oh
And
yeah, I
then
knew
when
about
they
that.
broke down, and I was like, wait a minute, wait, hold up. Let me just absorb this for a minute. You mean to tell me black women were sold so they can feed the white woman's baby?
Mm-hmm. All the while saying at the same time that black people are inadequate, but you'll use that black woman's DNA and milk to feed your baby. Okay. Racism, that's why I say black people are exceptional people, but racism is designed to get you to think that you're not. And it's designed for you to think that mediocrity is better than you when it isn't. That's how I see it. That's what racism is about. Seeing an exceptional group of people, but finding a way to get to them mentally. So much so that they even put themselves in shackles. Like you don't even have to do the hard work of imprisoning them, putting them in imprisonment anymore because they will do it for you. And they'll throw away the keys. And
Mm-hmm.
unfortunately, that's what a lot of people do. It's just like, it's that whole thing of when we do it, it's ghetto. But when somebody else does it, it's classy. Like
Yep.
I've been seeing recently online this whole thing with the white women are learning to cut the lotion bottles open. Have you seen that? And
No.
scoop, girl.
Oh yes. Well, you know what? I do it.
But haven't we been doing that
I
forever?
want to get every dollar out of that bottle. And if I cannot bang it out, yes, I do. I cut and I scoop
And you get
every
it out,
because
right?
there's still stuff in there.
Thank you. There's the white girls now go viral because they say no one ever taught us this. What? Okay, whatever. All the
So
black
you
people
mean to
looking
tell
around.
me you still feel the weight of the bottle? You still feel, and you're like banging away instead
That's
of
what they
just
used
cutting
to
it
do.
open?
Now they're cutting it open and they're scooping everything out and they're putting it in containers. It's like, okay, I mean, but I've been doing that since elementary school. What are you
Hmm.
talking about? My mother, even with toothpaste, listen, you would either cut it open or roll that thing to the dickens
Yep.
until literally smoke came out of it. But we got everything out of a tube, everything, because you didn't want to wait, to your point.
Right.
We waste nothing. Waste nothing. If we use a container of Vaseline, are we not rubbing the sides until there's like
I
residue left?
still have one because I have those little Vaselines, for the lips for the lip care.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
I still have one that still has a little bit around.
So you will not throw it because you're like, it's something in
No,
there.
until it is completely empty. You see what I'm saying? When that shit that I scoop my hand and cannot get anything out of it, no, it is still in my bag and I'm still using it.
But you're right. But they went viral for it. Learning to cut open a container of lotion and scooping out that's why I say racism is about celebrating mediocrity. And so you have to, at every point, lean into your exceptionalism. You have to. Don't allow mediocrity to make you think that you got to dim your light just so people can feel comfortable about doing the bare minimum. That's the thing that all people, all of us need to remember. Don't dim your light so the bare minimum can shine, because that's what racism is. And
Mhm.
and and I don't think it's a resurgence. Racism never went anywhere, and we talked about this in the beginning of this discussion. It just changed clothes. And I hope young people, you are paying attention to what is happening, because if you think it's going to get better because you don't acknowledge it, all you're doing is giving space and room for it to grow and get worse, because that's exactly what's going to happen. And if you let it get worse, if you think what your ancestors went through
Mhm.
was bad, imagine what you're going to go through when now people got billions and trillions of dollars. They didn't have nearly as much money as they have now. They didn't have nearly as much technology as they have now. It's going to be worse. So I just because you don't think it's real don't mean it ain't real. That's the message. Just because you don't think it's real doesn't mean it isn't. Because we
Correct.
all deal with it.
I 100% agree. And you know what? I mean, if people are weird about reading books, buy yourself an Audible membership. Look up those books. Take the time out to listen. If you're too busy, you're never too busy to listen. You're going to the gym, listen.
Yep.
You have a break, listen.
Yep.
Go outside, listen. Listen to these books and learn something. Because let me tell you something. I'm years old and
I'm 21. I don't know about you.
and I'm still learning. You know
Right.
what I'm saying? I am still
But you're
learning.
supposed to be. And maybe that's the problem. people refuse to keep learning. They think they know everything. And
Mm-hmm.
you can't teach them nothing. You can't tell them nothing. And it's like, just again, to go back to, just because you don't know, just because you never experienced, don't mean it ain't true.
So I'm gonna play the Godfrey video. I know he's had DL. I know he's had DL Hewley. I wish I could find that video, but let me go ahead and play the
And just so
DL.
you know, he's in trouble for some new stuff he said. I
DL.
just saw it yesterday. No, Godfrey.
Oh, Godfrey. I'm
I
sorry. I'm
just saw
sorry.
it yesterday. He's in trouble for more stuff. He said that whole thing. We'll talk about it after you show
Oh
it. That the usual
Lord.
Nigerian mess.
Oh wait, I think I saw something. Okay, all right. Let me go ahead and pull up this video.
Okay.
Interview that I did this morning. And look, I'm not making fun of this guy. Maybe you want to, I don't know, but it was one of the craziest interviews. And I hate to say when people are in the sunken place, but I felt like I don't want to put words in your mouth. Andy, you choose the one you want to roll for Godfrey, and then we'll go with it.
Uh-oh. Oh, boy.
I know that. I'm from the South. I've
Right.
been saying that people in the South, black people and white people integrate more than they do in the North. But that's mostly about socioeconomics. Doesn't mean that racism is solved. It's because basically those people who live together are the same part of the socioeconomic group. So if you are mostly middle class people and you have grown up there, you are going to pretty much be together in the same places. But
Right.
here in the North, it is about rich people who are all together. Most of them mainly are white because that's sort of, generational wealth. Most black people didn't have the opportunity to do that. But here in the North, it is more polarized than it is in the South. The South, I think, used to be segregated, but people are more polarized here in the North than they are in the South.
Now I know you can speak on that better than most because you from the South and you've been living all over. You've been living in the North, so I can
Not
understand.
only am I from the South and living in the North, my family just left here, and we had a long discussion about this, and a long discussion about people who believe that racism is over, or just because people are what they're called, oh, there's race mixing. That's what the racists used to call it back. But people who are marrying interracial marriage,
Well,
they think that racism is over because of
no.
that, and it's not. But it doesn't mean that it is as bad as back in Emmett Till.
Right.
We made
Racist
progress.
people is going to always be with us. There's nothing you can do about that. That's why Jesus Christ suffered, bled, and died for that very same thing, is because racist people going to walk amongst you. But who really cares about the quiet racist? He's a racist and he's quiet and he don't say nothing about it. He over there. If he not bothering you, he can be racist over there. As long as he don't come and shove it down my throat, I don't care what he is over there, right? He's not affecting me. If he ain't affecting me.
You don't know that.
But
you don't know what that quiet racist is doing. You don't know who he's influencing. You don't know what kids and grandkids he's influencing. You don't know that.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is,
you don't know who he's supporting. Maybe he's sending money to the Klan. You don't know.
But when I'm speaking of quiet, I'm talking about the ones who just keeping it to himself. You know what I'm saying? If he's quiet with it, I agree with what you're saying right there. I agree with that.
Emmanuel.
If he's helping people be racist, that's a problem. And when I'm speaking,
but how do you know that if he's quiet about it? Quiet is kept. You know what quiet is kept is, right?
Hey, I'm just saying, man. If you got a health problem and it don't show up on this blood result, then good deal.
Then eventually, one day, it's going to kill you. Even if it doesn't show up, even if you don't know about it, it's still going to kill you.
He reminds me of them Hebrew Israelites. When they got the beards, they be like, but listen, brother, you got to understand that the quietness of the racism is just like bad health. And that's psychological because the Hittites and the Mennonites came from Mount Sinai. And that is the reason why the black man is the way he is. And the white man comes from the Caucasus Mountains. And that same psychology goes within their violence. That's why there's nothing wrong with a quiet racist, my brother.
The physical
Anytime they got a beard,
autonomy of the equivocation
of the psychological prostration. See, brother, that's the problem with you brothers, man. See, I got a beard of knowledge. You see my beard? That's knowledge, my brother. And then the way I hold my hands means that I am more educated than you. And I'm trying to tell you, we came from China, not from Africa, brother.
I can't even.
Soon as I saw the guy, the cutting with guy, the guy that he was interviewing, soon as I saw how he looked, I immediately understood why he felt and thought the way he did. He looks like what I call a hotep. You know, them woke dudes who they think they super woke. They're so woke that they know it's no racism, right? And even if it is, it ain't affecting me because I'm gonna get my money. Ain't nobody stopping me. So I figured it was like soon as I saw him, I said, "Oh, I know who this is. I know exactly what kind of guy this is."
Yes,
Soon as I saw him.
that's Emmanuel cutting with. And I
Well,
think I
meaning
know which.
they also too have all have the same look to them, if you know what I mean. The big old beard, to their point. They all look a certain way. It's just like, what books did you read to quantify any of these thoughts?
I mean, he even said, and I don't think I have put this in the notes. He even said that things are different now because black people are laying down with white people and they're making babies. So
They were
that's
doing
all.
that back in the day. What are you talking about?
I
That's not
mean,
new.
weren't white men?
Wasn't George Washington doing that?
Yes.
Benjamin Franklin?
I mean, and then people act, and this is
What?
another thing. People will be acting like, being gay is a new thing. It's not a new thing. It's been going on forever.
Just like trans women. That ain't new.
No, it's not.
Child, say it again. But people don't read books.
Didn't Milton Berle dress up as women as a character in in his variety shows?
People forgot all about Flip Wilson, right? They forgot all. It's just like people act, but you know what it is? What we do. What do you say? They don't read. They don't read. They just operate off of feelings, and we mentioned this earlier. They start from a place of where they are right now. Anything that came before, I don't care about it. It never mattered. It's only the stuff that I know about from this point forward that matters. And it's like, that's not how the world works. It's not how it works, but that's how people see things now. That was crazy. What?
It's
You saw me have the same reaction at the same time. He said something, and me and Godfrey are both like, wait a minute. Because you don't even want to think it's real. And Don Lemon laughing while he interviewing him, because even Don's like, nah, bruh. Okay, listen.
I have to find the actual interview because I know it's here on the channel now. I probably know what it is to look for, but
Okay.
to know that there are people. Well, I don't know how different states run. You understand what I'm
Okay.
saying? I've never been to Mississippi. I've never been to Alabama.
Thank
I've never
God.
been to Tennessee.
You're
You know what I
not
mean?
missing nothing, I hear. I haven't been either, but I hear you're missing nothing. I can tell you this. I have some white friends that moved to Tennessee. They hate it. Because they're educated. She has a master's degree. Her husband has these are educated people. And she's like, this is the worst decision we ever made in our life. She's like, we've got to get the hell out of here.
Wow.
She's like, she said, because they had visited Tennessee many a times and had a great time. But she said, what I found living here and visiting are two completely different things. And she said, we're just too smart for this. I said, that's telling when somebody says, we're too smart for this and they're white. That's correct. And she has a biracial niece. So she don't tolerate no racism. See, because she like, because the niece looks black. She's not one of those passing. So she's like, I love my niece. That's my baby. I will die for her. And so I will not tolerate any racism. My family don't, because she wasn't raised in racism. So she don't tolerate it. But it's just like, but then you move to Tennessee and she's like in the thick of things. And she's like, oh my God, she feel like they didn't get out. She's like, we got to get and she's white. And she's like, we got to get out of here.
Imagine that shit. You being a white person moving to Tennessee, knowing that you can gain all the benefits, and you're like, we need to get the fuck out of here.
What does that tell you? What does that tell you? That is not a safe place to be.
Yep.
But hey, racism doesn't exist anymore. Because we play video
According to
games together,
Emmanuel.
Maribel.
Well, let's close it out. Do you have any final thoughts? Because this is not going to be the first or the last of this conversation. We're definitely going to have more. But for the sake of this video, do you have any final thoughts?
I just want to say, if you not discussing racism, not talking about racism is not going to get rid of racism. And people who don't want to have those conversations, they don't want to get rid of it. They don't want a world, an America specifically. I mean, you could say the world because racism is everywhere, to be honest with you. But they don't want a place where people can be treated like people and not different just because they happen to be born with more melanin in their skin. That we got to get to a point of doing that. And in order to get there, we got to get to the core of why people feel the way they do about a race of people. That's real talk. We got to get to the core of that. And once we get to the core of that, maybe we can start to get to a place to have discussions where we can get to some real change. But you
Well,
can't ignore it, folks, because it won't go
no.
away.
And I think I'm going to write it down because I think that's going to be our next topic.
Ooh, I can't wait.
We definitely need to talk about that. I made my notes. So thank you, Bishop, for coming on. As always, I enjoy all the videos that we do, and I get feedback from a lot of my friends. You got to have Bishop more.
Awesome.
I'm
Yeah,
like,
I have
you
a
know
great
what?
time here, y'all. I have a great time. We laugh. Maribel and I laugh a lot. It may not make it into the full videos all the time,
Yeah.
but we over here having a key. Y'all just don't always get to see all of it.
Maybe one day in the blooper
Yeah.
reel.
One day.
All right, everyone. So that's it for the show. We would love to hear your comments down below. Be sure to become a subscriber in order for you to comment, because a lot of the times I will not allow other people unless you're a subscriber in order for you to comment, because we have to be respectful here. We're going to have grown-up conversations, have some grown-up comments, and we can go ahead and read those comments. So with all that being said, this is Maribel Blue signing off. As always, remember, be good to yourself, be good to each other, and most importantly, take care of you. Bye, everybody.